Tonight, the city of Baltimore came together with families that are torn apart. Their loved ones make up the 343 people killed this year.
343 people have been murdered in Baltimore this year, making the city one of America's most violent and breaking a per capita record.
More than 340 people were murdered in Baltimore this year, a record number of homicides per capita.
It ended the year with 343 murders, or 56 for every 100,000 people. That's the city's highest per capita rate ever.
I lost my brother July the 5th.
Of this year.
Yeah, he was shot and killed.
This is the number Tina Forrester remembers. Her husband Jim was the 334th person murdered in Baltimore this year. These are the images of the suspects, a potential robbery gone wrong. And Tina, she was on the phone with her husband at that very moment.
He was a great guy, you know, loved by so many. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would ever face a day where I would listen to my husband being murdered at work.
There's one obvious culprit for this, a stand down by police. After the 2015 riots there following the death of Freddie Gray, Baltimore cops were pressured to back off on tough policing tactics. A lot of them were afraid to go out and do what they did before. For the most part, they backed off, and this is the result.
Innocence. Learn, survive, inspire.
Mayor Catherine Pugh reading signs of encouragement for 2018. Many in the crowd carrying a heavy heart in the name of a life lost this year.
As we continue to work together collaboratively, that we will change the future of Baltimore, that this will become the safest city in America.
Have the decency to look at us.
Some want to see the city do more.
I want to see all of these people that came here with pictures of their loved ones and not their loved ones to have justice. I want them to have answers. I want accountability. I want change. I know it doesn't happen overnight, but it's not going to happen by reminding us how many there are.
2017, 343 murders in the city of Baltimore. Why is that? I don't know what percentage of those murder victims were African American, the overwhelming majority. So I'm a little concerned and confused by why you wouldn't have a better answer than there are a lot of reasons. Like, it's a serious question. Why were 343 people murdered in Baltimore this year? Have you thought about why? Black Lives Matter spends all of its time talking about how the cops are the problem, but I don't hear anybody even thinking through, like, why is this happening? That's a lot of people to die in a small city, and I never hear anybody say why.
Tucker, I have a hard time believing that you really have a whole lot of conversations with Black Lives Matter to know what they only talk about.
I'm having one right now, and I can't get a straight answer, which is a little bit revealing, I would say.
Absolutely not. Well, see, that's exactly what I just told you when we came on. I'm not a Black Lives Matter activist, but I do understand why excessive force is an issue.
Oh, but you haven't.
As all Americans, I would hope that you would have, too. All Americans should think about this issue. And we're actually saying the same thing, but you want to divide.
That's why I'm doing this segment, because I want to get a real answer. But I'm not getting one.
And that's the answer. What is the question?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. Lady, you can grin and cheese and show your damn teeth all you want. You are, in fact, part of the problem. As I told you before on the last show that I did, that you got a lot of black people who appoint themselves as spokespersons. They think that they're going to speak for all of Black America, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Here you have a black woman that gets on the Tucker Carlson show. And they, of course, are talking about the recent news that Baltimore now is the new murder capital of the world. Black folks are just slaughtering and killing each other in droves in Baltimore. But it has spilled over now to elements of the white community. And as you saw in all of the clips there, that it is a situation that is absolutely out of control. And I love what Tucker Carlson did during his interview with her. What he did was he took Black Lives Matter and he took the police out of the equation, and he asked this woman, why do you think there is so much violence in black communities? And she would not give him an answer. She would not give him an answer, despite the fact that this woman lives in Atlanta, a city whose crime rate is pretty much on track with Baltimore, which is on track with Detroit, which is on track with Chicago, which is on track with Cleveland, which is on track with Los Angeles, which is on track apparently in France, which is on track everywhere black people are. Like I said, you get groups of black folk, 10 or more, and it's a recipe for disaster. She refused answer that question because she did not want to admit publicly that black folks are violent and savage and self-destructive and just absolutely decimating their neighborhoods, and something needs to be done about it. Oh, and let me back up because I said black folks, which means I just generalized an entire group of people, and somebody is bound to call me out for that. You're talking about all black people, so that's not what I meant. Let me back up and be specific. There is an element in black society across the country that is violent, self-destructive, negative, and they are good for nothing more than killing, murder, and all types of self-destructive behavior. This woman who claims to be a lawyer, okay, she knows it as a black person. She knows it as a black woman, but she will get on national television. And for all of you black people out there who were watching maybe Tucker Carlson or who were watching her, she just fed you an absolute lie. She just fed you an absolute falsehood. She will not admit the truth about black people. She will not admit the truth that there is a problem in black America. She will not admit the truth that the levels of violence have gotten so bad that an entire city does not have an answer for it because the entire city doesn't want to face facts and doesn't, or the black elements of that city doesn't want to face facts, doesn't want to admit the truth. That mayor who is as ineffective as the previous mayor in Baltimore will not say the truth as it should be told in front of everybody because you don't want to be perceived as a coon or a sellout or an Uncle Tom by people who don't like what you say, even though you tell the truth. A lot of you all ride me sometimes for the way I say things, and I do understand that. But I am telling you what I tell you with an element of truth that you cannot deny. I'm telling you exactly what you need to hear. Whether you choose to listen to it or not is up to you. And all you need to do, go out in your respective areas, wherever you are, black folks, go out and follow up on what I say. And you'll see all the shooting, you'll see all the killing, you'll see all the negativity, you'll see black men gunning down their women, gunning down their children, gunning down their senior citizens. You will see all of it. And if you don't want to accept, the obvious truth that's in front of you, you can go back on television and you can listen to black people like that feed you a false narrative and keep you in a constant state of ignorance and misinformation. When he took Black Lives Matter out of the equation, when he took the police out of the equation, she was left with no other means but to deal with black on black violence, but to deal with the fact that black people are slaughtering, black men specifically are slaughtering their own. They are eating their own young. They are like a cancer that is eating away at black America. And she does not want to deal with it, and she does not want to admit it. She has done a disservice to any black person who was listening to her while she grins and cheeses and, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. What was the question? So Mr. Carlson was on the right track, but he could only push it so far, because if he really got into it the way he should have gotten into it, he would have been labeled a racist. He would have been labeled a bigot for asking the questions that needed to be asked. So I can ask those questions since you don't know what the questions are. Question: more black men have slaughtered and killed each other way more than any cop or any racist has ever done in the United States. Why is that? Question: everywhere that black people are, it is the same levels of violence and death and destruction. And it has nothing to do with the police. It has nothing to do with anything other than black people savagely killing each other. Why is that? Question: the founders of Black Lives Matter have never publicly spoken out about their organization, the organization that they claim that they have founded. But they never say anything about black on black violence. They never say anything about black on black hatred and black on black self-destruction. So if Black Lives Matter really matters, why don't the founders of Black Lives Matter speak out against black on black violence? Were those enough questions? Since you didn't understand what the question was, you're doing all that cheesing and grinning, showing your damn teeth. I can't stand an educated fool. That's the worst thing you could deal with, is an educated fool. Now let's move on to that church footage where the mainstream media never has a problem showing you black folks in church holding hands, singing Kumbaya, holding up candles and balloons and teddy bears. And that woman whose husband was murdered, she's pissed. Okay, lady, and let me say something. You're getting a taste of what we've been getting for almost 20-something years, but it's starting to spill over into your areas, so I can understand why you're upset. But hey, it's nowhere near the levels of upset that we've been dealing with as black folks. It's the same levels of inept, inadequate, ridiculous, absolute incompetence. Your current mayor, just like that woman that was on the Tucker Carlson show, okay, they turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the truth. They don't want to admit that it's black folks that's causing all this destruction and all this death, and they need to do something about it. Useless, stupid symbolism. That's all you black people like to do. You like to hold signs. What the heck is that supposed to do, holding up some sign with a word on it? You might as well have showed up in that church with a sticker on your shirt saying, hello, my name is, or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. But since you like holding up signs like a bunch of kids at a damn preschool, KTM made up some signs that you can hold up that'll do you a lot better than the ones that you're working with right now. How about this one? Start shooting back. And how about this one? Black man, grow some balls and take your communities back from these thugs and these punks. Or how about this one? Exercise your Second Amendment rights, which is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. As far as I'm concerned, Baltimore, you're not living in a free state. Your state has been occupied by gangs, thugs, punks, and domestic terrorists, which leads me back to my previous sign. Pick up your guns, exercise your Second Amendment rights, and start shooting back. And my last sign is especially for people like this cheesy grinning heifer and all these other lofty, educated blacks, educated fools that don't want to face facts and don't want to admit to the truth about what's going on in black America. We got a nigger problem in the United States of America. Black America, what are we going to do about it? This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying, think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.